Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the People, Passion, and Purpose podcast. We have a very interesting personality here, and a friend who I'm officially, meeting for the first time on video. We've met a lot of times through conversations on WhatsApp, a few conversations while I was in the organization. Uh, and this is a surprise to see you, and also let me take this opportunity to welcome Sreedev for this podcast. He has interesting things to share, and I have interesting questions to ask. So let's see where this goes. So just give an introduction. So Sreedev has a background of electronics engineering. He's worked with my former employer, currently working with Bosch. He's from Kerala right now in Bangalore, and he's been in the automotive space for close to 7 years. A tech enthusiast, and somebody who, self-proclaimed saying how much ever he eats, he never puts on weight. So I am waiting to know the secret of that. A PC gamer and a sustainability enthusiast who spends a lot of time, according to him, uh, thinking of how the world is. And he's also a minimalist who watches dramatic movies and enjoys crying. So that's how Sridhar wanted me to introduce himself. So I'm
You asked for it.
curious on many things. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Fungi, for introducing me to the audience.
Yes, this is interesting to have somebody come along who says, whatever I eat, I don't put on weight. So even if I drink air or, take in air, I think I am somebody who puts on weight.
Yeah.
The other side is always nice. Hmm. So what do you have for us today?
So I don't know. See, I'm just this average guy, so there is no big stories or anything to
Mhm.
share. But I really kind of had a bout with mental health issues a couple of years back, and it actually transformed me a lot. So I was thinking I would I actually wanted to speak about this somewhere. This is not a very easy to a topic to open up also. So
Yeah.
when I got to know that, or I have been seeing your podcast project of yours. So I have always thought that, okay, I'm sure this does not have a lot of audience, but still I thought, okay, let me use this as a platform to speak up, uh, even though it might not reach like 1,000 people, or that it's not at that scale. uh, so yeah, that's what I want to do. So this is, I don't think this is like that big motivation story or anything, but at the same time, if there's that one person who sees this, who might be going through that situation, and if that person can take away something from my story, and if it helps to helps him in some way a little bit, that's my only intention here.
Mm. Yeah, that is true. So, there's that story that usually we hear on social media, right? So, there's a lot of crabs on the seashore, and then there's one kid who's
Hmm.
throwing all those back to the ocean, and lots of fishes that have
Hmm.
stranded on the seashore, and there's one kid who's putting it back. And then somebody is saying, "Hey,
Uh-huh.
there are thousands of fishes. You may not save all of them." And
Yeah.
that's to that, this young kid says, "But to this fish it does," and then he throws it
Hmm.
to the ocean. So yeah, with issues around topics around mental health is nuanced, is tentative, is so many things at once. So yeah, thank you for coming on board. And when you said you want to share your story, I was more than happy to offer my podcast as a platform for you, and hope it makes a
And
difference to somebody. And we never know who it makes a difference to.
yeah, and the thing is that probably nobody knows the story. Maybe some people I've randomly spoken to, they might not know the story. So when this podcast gets out, I like, now people have a perception of me. But
Mm-hmm.
after sharing this, I don't know how their perception will be, how it will change. I don't know. So this is something I am also looking forward to, how people will perceive my story. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
So actually, to start with, I really have to go back to my childhood. Like, see, generally, I was this very silent kid, but who was happy for most of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and my happiness mostly came from doing these productive kind of things, be it being learning something new about technology, even during my teenage and all, learning about technology, reading books. Uh, and those kind of productive things is what always kept me happy. So then I went into engineering, and again, being a tech enthusiast, I also had my fair share of interesting things in college also. So see, I kind of thrived on doing these productive things, and it is what mostly kept me happy throughout my life. So just to give a little bit of background over there. Then once I was done with my degree in 2015, I actually started working in this hardware domain back in Kerala itself. Uh, once I started working, because I was tech enthusiast, and I kind of loved what I did. Uh, this place of work was away from my home, so I moved to a different city in Kerala, and I was working. So since I was a tech enthusiast and I really loved the field I got into, I was kind of married to my work. I would go to office maybe at like 9:30, would leave by 7:30. I come back by 8, have dinner, just uh, have food, sleep. Then the cycle
Mm-hmm.
repeats. So this thing actually went on for like two plus years. So that phase, the kind of self care, which you should actually be taking care of yourself on so many levels, be it exercise, or be it decent amount of breaks, or a lot of things, or self care routines, or whatever. This was kind of absent in my life for maybe that 2 years or so. And because of that, I don't know, I again, even there was even a decent lack of exposure to sunlight, because I would hop
Yeah.
into office early in the morning. I mean, 9:30, I would get out of my room, be in office, and then uh, get out in the evening once the sun goes down. So I was not even getting proper sunlight. And you know how even that can affect your mental health to a
Definitely,
very
yeah.
good extent.
Mm.
Yeah, Pangi, like my conversation might end up being one-sided because it's a little bit of a long story. Be free to interrupt me in between, and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. No, but
yeah,
this is a story of a lot of young professionals, Sreedev. So
yeah,
we'll find traction with people who have been through similar experiences. So please.
hmm yeah. So what happened is that, so I thrived on all these kind of productive things, but slowly I started losing the ability to be happy, uh, or enjoy these things. So, like, these were the kind of things that kept me going. That actually, whether it's reading a book, or learning about a new technology, or doing some random hobbies related to technology, or even gaming, these are things that got me out of bed every day, got me going. But suddenly, slowly, when I was no longer able to find happiness in any of these things, like, life suddenly didn't, not suddenly, slowly, life didn't have any kind of meaning. It really got to a point where I would wake up at uh, 10 in the morning on a working day. I would get ready for office, have breakfast, and be in office by 10:30. So I would get to office late. Plus, you know how things are when you are getting all these things done in half an hour.
Mm.
Uh, so so that continued for a while, and it got really bad that I couldn't lift myself out of the bed in the morning. So I'm not sure if I'm able to convey the intensity of that, because I'm mashing it up into a really brief thing. Uh, so what I did was, see again, that's a problem here. See, this is a period where you really need a bit of self care. You need to take a step back and you need to focus yourself. But the problem is when the things are really bad, actually the self care declines even further.
Yeah.
So it pulls you even deeper into that loop of being unable to be happy. So what happened is that, so the organization I used to work with was very good. The people were, the environment was really good. The work environment, culture, everything was really good. Still, I fell into this problem of mental health issue. See, I wouldn't call this depression because I was never diagnosed. Like, see, depression is a word that gets thrown around a lot, uh, randomly. And since I was never diagnosed, because I didn't go to any professional help. Still, I don't want to throw around that word randomly, depression, but probably that was it with me.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so even though the organization was really good, and probably it was a place where I could have used to heal myself, I did the worst blunder thing I could. What I thought was, okay, maybe an environment switch might really help me get out of this. So I started working with this organization somewhere in early 2016, and I resigned exactly 3 years later, in 2019, and went to a company in Gujarat. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is that I don't know Hindi, I don't know Gujarati. So the new organization I joined in, I was the only English speaking guy. They had
Mm-hmm.
to interact me in English. So I ended up not being a good culture fit. I was not able to fit into that company culture well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already coming with this uh, mental health issue, this depression, this inability to feel happy uh, with the things that I enjoyed a lot. Like, and on top of that, now I have switched from a good company to a new organization, and I cannot fit into the company. So it, the things went even further downhill, to
Things
the
went
point
off.
that like I literally couldn't get up from my bed every day. Like, I had to put a lot of effort in the morning just to get up from my bed. And to be very honest, sometimes you went to bed thinking that, God, please, I hope that I don't wake up the next day. Uh,
Mm.
I'm not sure if I'm smiling and saying these things, but I'm not sure if I can convey the magnitude. See,
Mm.
to be very honest, only three things kept me going. Uh, to be honest, I didn't want to wake up in the morning, which means I didn't want to live it. But the only reason could I kept on going is because, first of all, I didn't have the guts to do something dramatic. Secondly, I thought about the faces whose rest of their lives will be miserable if I did something stupid. Third thing, that I was a very happy guy doing all these productive things, and not the
Mm.
entertainment stuff like watching movies and things like that. When somebody is happy doing productive things, that's a different kind of stuff. Like, you see, a guy who is happy doing productive stuff needs very little to be happy. That's the truth of it, actually. And the third thing was that I was a very happy guy before, so I was always expecting, okay, if I'm able to tide over this situation somehow, I could go back to my old happy days. So
Mm.
the previous experience of happiness is also something that kept me going. So it got to a point where I couldn't function properly at all. Uh, and in February, early 2020, I actually resigned from that organization. And actually, I have to really thank my parents for this, because I don't think they really understood what was going on with me. I think what they thought it is, I think they took it to be like I was too lazy to do a 9 to 5 job or something. They probably took it that way, but they were pretty supportive, even though they probably didn't understand what I was going through. Of course, I didn't open up to them also about what I'm
Mm.
going through really. So what they said is, dude, don't worry about anything. You just come back home. That is what they actually said. And I hopped on a plane after resigning and came back home. So then what I did was, so this was just before the COVID time, and my
Mm.
plan was to do nothing. I didn't know what my next plan was. I had no plans. My plan was just to do nothing, chill at home, and see where life takes me. Then this whole COVID thing happened, and while the whole world was running around to figuring things out and moving from office based work to remote work, I was kind of peacefully sitting at home, watching all this drama and things unfold actually. So I was not caught in that rush. I was i could pull myself out of that situation, and I could say kind of peacefully observe that uh, the things that unfolded in a much more peaceful way than most people. Okay, anyways, that has not that doesn't have much relation to my episode. So what I mostly did during this period is I mostly did nothing. I just pursued a few interests, a few hobbies and interests, like my some a little bit of video creation, a little bit of YouTube, then some stock trading, reading books, but more gaming. Mostly it was nothing. And overall I made sure I took walks in the evening. There was a really beautiful lake near my home, which gives you beautiful golden sky in the evenings, where
Mm.
you can get plenty of sunlight and all those things. So basically, I would say I did nothing. I pursued a few hobbies. I did a little bit of exercise. I got a lot of sunlight. I ate healthy. This is the only thing actually I did. So I quit in early 2020, and in between I did take some freelancing work just to make sure my savings don't dry up actually. So and in yeah, and after that I started feeling better, and in December 2021 is when I really joined Bosch. So now see, after that, after joining Bosch, I continued to work from home for like 7 months, and then I moved to Bangalore in August last year. And moving to Bangalore itself, okay, I was somewhat recovered by the time I joined Bosch, and moving to Bangalore also helped me a lot, because the climate in Kerala is warm and humid. By the end of the day, you are like so dead tired, whether you are working or not working. But Bangalore gave me a different level of energy, and that also, like, in the end, by the time I was in Bangalore, I was probably the happiest I have been in life. Probably because of the long break that I took, and the this all this little bit of exercise and the relaxation things I did. I was like the one of the most happiest I have ever been. So yeah, and now I'm uh, doing my work and carrying on with my life in a happy way. That's mostly my story. But what I want to add to it is like how this transformed me actually. See, I was
Mm.
a really silent guy. I really an introvert deep inside. Like I wouldn't talk to people much, and that's what I was. But see, this episode really helped me. See, I told you kind of I'm happy with doing these productive things. Basically, if if you are to describe me, I'm like this introvert geek kind of person who would be
Mm-hmm.
silent and all. Uh, but uh, so there used to be a time where I think like, why can't people be productive or do much more productive things and find happiness in that and those kind of things? But my mental health issue episode actually made me realize about human emotions and human situations a lot more. See, Pangi, I come from a kind of a privileged background. I don't have any dependencies. My family is well off. My job prospects and my career future is good because I'm in a decent area of work, in a decent tech field. I am. In spite of that, I I got these mental health issues, and I don't think I conveyed it in a very structured manner. But it was like, you have everything in the world. So when somebody looks at you, he, he or she will feel you are so privileged. But for no reason, you feel a hopelessness that you can never you feel that you can never come out of. That is briefly the situation you are in. But after this episode, I kind of understood human emotions better. And after this episode, I really started with people way better. So from 3 or 4 years ago, I was this silent guy. And from that, now I am probably the first person who goes to that new joiner in office and makes that person comfortable in office. I try to understand them more on the very first day and make them comfortable in office, because now I know, like, people are not what they seem on the outside. They might be struggling through something. Even like, you are coming to a new office, new people, new environment. That itself is kind of a, sometimes it could be intimidating bit. You know how the first few days can be. So from the shy person, now I connect with people like uh, anything. And the thing is that even though I wouldn't wish such an episode to happen to anyone in the world, because see, I came out of it because of my privileges mostly. I didn't have any dependencies. I didn't have any other issues in life. So because of that, I had the privilege to quit my job, to come back home, chill, and somehow come out of this. But not everybody has this privilege. That's the truth. So I wouldn't wish this on anyone. But if you ask me, I wouldn't have it any differently, because this
Mm-hmm.
very much transformed me from a person who was so silent to someone who could connect a lot with people. See, if you if you come to my office and see, I'm like the chattiest guy now in office. And yeah, that's mostly it. And the another thing, just what I wanted to say is that you will see people smiling on the outside, but you never know what they're really going through on the inside. So whenever you can, not whenever you can, always be kind to people, because you never know what they are going through. Like, uh, so just be kind to everyone. And if there is somebody who's watching this and who is bad times, just trust me, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't do anything stupid. Just the best thing is that get professional help. I was somehow able to come out of this without any professional help, mostly because of my privileges. But I would strongly advise, get professional help. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. And the best thing is that you will probably come out of this as a way better person than you have been before. It is going to be transformational. So just stick through this dark phase and come out of it somehow, and you will be a way better person than you have been before you had this episode. So that's mostly it. I don't know it. I don't know if this felt like a long one-sided conversation, because usually I think your podcast is much more
Mm,
conversational, but
hmm,
and I'm not sure if I structured it well, but I think this is my story mostly.
hmm. So thank you, Sreedev. Thank you for sharing with so much of vulnerability. I know it's not easy to share
Yeah.
something so intense, something that you got through. I think.
See, Punky, like the the Sreedev from 3 or 4 years ago wouldn't be able to articulate like this or show his vulnerability this much. But
Hmm,
now, s- see, now you probably won't realize that I am an introverted person. I don't think you will get a hint of it. If you see me in office, I am like this highly extroverted person now. But once I get out of office, I come back, I am alone, I do my gaming. Now I kind of very well juggle between this introvert and the extrovert part very well,
hmm.
and it's a huge transformation that has happened.
Yeah, I can sense that. I can sense that because you share that with so much of passion, so much of intensity. And yeah, in terms of, I think whatever you told, seeking professional help is something that everybody should do. So we seek
Yeah,
professional help when your vehicle's not really working. You seek professional help, and there's a help desk for almost everything right now. But
yeah,
health, for our even if it's not termed depression, if it's not termed an illness, it's something that you would want to talk with, share with. I think it's pretty important to work with a friend, a buddy initially, and then if not really working out, check in with a professional, a trained professional, a coach, a therapist, a mentor, a counselor, or whatever that you like to call with, and then get in to actually make a difference. So when you were sharing all of this, I think it reminded me of my own aspects of how I got into my own introvert to extrovert story. I think there are many episodes of mine where I think it felt similar spaces, which where
uh-huh.
it could be maybe everybody has a different intensity, everybody has a different space of thing, and I think I've had many conversations with people from
Mm-hmm.
different walks of life, geographies, and all of that. And one thing that's very clear for me is that I think over the course of many social media spaces, we've actually lost that connection of who we are at individual levels, and how we connect with people. I think has completely changed. We are like, oh,
Right.
I'm a Facebook friend, I'm an Instagram friend, I say LinkedIn connect, but then we completely
Yeah.
forgetting that these are people. They have lives. They have something very different going on.
Right.
Every day is different. Every day is different. There are people who have, maybe very different things that are going on at home, good things, the bad things, the ugly things. But then when you come to office or when you come to a professional setup, everything is now like completely masked off, at least for
Yeah.
the world. But it's never masked really. It's staying within. It's staying with you, staying with that person who's going through it. There are many things that are aggravating it, changing it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas my humble opinion is, if you feel like you need to talk to me, feel free to get in touch. Anybody who's listening in, so anybody who's listening in, watching in, feel free to get in touch. Either as a buddy, I can listen to you, or since I'm also a professional coach, I can help you with that in getting certain places, and also maybe refer you to some therapists that I do know of. So therapy and mental health is something that is not taboo. It's something that happens to people. I think you were sharing, saying, hey, I had all privileges, I had everything working in,
Yeah.
and still it hit. So
See, Banki, honestly, not many people have these privileges.
mm,
Like, if I talk to my colleagues, I can sense that they are not colleagues or friends. They are not often as privileged as me. They have a lot of dependencies. They have to support their families. Like, honestly, I am this person who can be carefree. Like, my life situation at least point is like that. I'm like a free bird.
yeah, true that not everybody has the free bird space, the financial problems,
Yeah,
still dependencies. There could be emotional dependencies.
yeah,
Some of us are not really in touch with our emotions as well. So there could be a lot of things that could be happening.
Yeah. And also one message I want to say is that from time to time, please do check on your friends and your loved ones and your near ones, because nobody opens up about this. And especially if you feel that a friend who was talking to you has gone silent, do check up on that person. Please do that. It will go a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Sreedev. So thank you for sharing that. I think that also is something that makes sense. So do check in on your friends, let them know you're there for them. And I think if you feel that hey, you need help, so help is actually not too far away. Most organizations do have
Yeah.
a house counselor. There's always somebody whom you trust in your own house and in your own family. I think family at times are your greatest of strengths, and they can accept you as you are. They've accepted you as you are, and it could be difficult for you to make that initial conversation. But
Yeah. Opening up
and
is a little difficult, but you have to take that step,
yes,
or at
so
least convey to them something is wrong. They might
yeah,
not
yeah,
understand the whole because they might not understand this whole spectrum of mental health issues, but just let them know something is wrong at least.
absolutely. And I think also parents or anybody when you see, I think when you're looking at people with empathy, you're in tune with your emotions. You are able to catch something amiss with somebody else. And when in that place, to let them know that you're open for conversation, have a conversation. And then if you do feel and you need professional help, seek that. And sometimes, you could look at a coach, a mentor, a therapist, whatever works for you. Yeah, I'm doing some marketing here for my own aspects. I'm a trained coach. I have worked with people from various walks of life, even before I got into coaching. And one of the things that really helped me to get into coaching is to read people's emotions, to be in tune with my own emotions, and also to help people get through some of their own, spaces, and help them to get to where they want to be. So all that is definitely a good thing. So thank you, Sreedev, for sharing with such candidness, such vulnerability, and yeah, maybe just moving on to these topics.
Punky, I just wanted to add one more thing.
Uh,
Since you mentioned empathy is one of those traits which I picked up after this mental health issue episode.
mm,
Like now, whomever I approach, like you are automatically empathetic to them, towards them. You view every situation from their side, and you are able to empathize way better. That's a trait I have picked up actually after this.
that's fantastic. So empathy, compassion, kindness,
Yeah.
definitely will come in handy professionally, personally, in all of your relationships, in all of your interactions with the world outside.
And another thing is that I can read people way better. Like I can kind of sense what is going on behind the scenes with this person. Like I can now sense that even the slightest change in their rhythms. See, it might be a colleague who I hardly know, but now I can quickly pick up those emotional waves and somehow understand, okay, there's something going on with this person that is not right. Like that's what I said. Like this episode, after this episode, I sometimes feel like a superman. I can read people better now. I have become empathetic. So even though it was a dark episode, I feel that it has given me some superpowers now.
Absolutely, empathy is definitely a superpower, and I think it's not come in any of the Marvel characters, DC characters, Shaktiman,
Yeah.
none of the comics. But then I think it's definitely not. I think maybe it will come underratedly, but then it's never told in the full effect, full range of it. And I think even if you look at it, even all of our superheroes have gone through certain stages wherein they've had setbacks, they've had, they've really crashed as an individual, and yet they've risen up.
Hmm.
It's something that we also want to do, and then we got to keep faith that things are going to get better, or seek professional help and all of that. So, Sreedev, thank you for sharing again. I just wanted to share that again. So
Yeah.
what else? what else is Sreedev? So you said sustainability. You said gamer.
Yeah.
You're from God's own
So,
country.
going on to the sustainability tangent, I am not that much of a sustainability enthusiast. I mean, I'm not that much of a hardcore sustainability enthusiast as you.
Mhm.
You use coconut shell for holding your soap and all.
Mhm.
I'm not that level, but I do consciously take small steps. Like, see, even though it's not my home, I might end up taking actions for saving electricity, be it in office, conference room. Like, sometimes some people leave their workstations on in office. Like, even though there are no tasks running at the end of the day, I'm that person who might go and shut it down. And I don't watch videos in 1080p. I watch it only in 720p. I watch it in 1080p only if it is necessary, because I know that the energy consumption for 1080p is way higher. So
Absolutely.
I'm not that much of a big sustainability guy like you, but I do take these baby steps for energy conservation, reducing the use of plastic, and those kind of things. Whenever I go for having tea in the evenings, I ask them to give it to me in the glass instead of the paper cups, and those kind of things. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
small
absolutely. Paper
sustainability.
cups. Yeah. Paper cups. So generally, when I was in the office, I tried to push this across, and anybody who's listening in. So every office now that to work from home may not be so much of a particular thing. Work from office is back, and there are close to 2,000, 4,000, maybe 10,000 associates in an organization. And then over a period of the day, we have an easy average 300 to 500 people who come for coffee, and
Hmm.
most of them use paper cups. So if you really
and
look
it,
at
and it's not
number of
healthy
cups, it's
also,
very,
because
very
it has
high.
this plastic lining inside, right?
Yes, it's plastic lining. The plastic is going, microplastic, nanoplastic is getting ingested to your body. Not
Yeah.
the best, not the best. Environmentally too, it's not any better than a plastic cup. Plastic.
Yeah.
It's, it's the same thing, but packaged differently. And trees
Yeah.
to make paper, basically they're also bleach to get that whiteness. There's so many things that happen, and then paper cups, and the paper cups I think is a big trigger for me. So yeah.
Yeah. I
uh,
think you have posted something long on it a while back, right?
yes, a very while back. So yeah, I think it's almost like a no-brainer to say everybody has to get on the sustainability bandwagon, be it
Yeah.
through energy conservation, be it through plastic reduction, in any ways possible, in many ways possible. It has to happen, and that's how the world can be the world it is. Otherwise, our mere survival is at question. And even if we do,
Yeah.
we're not sure what's going to be, the state of the space. But when you were saying about, your house in Kerala, those lake and that golden sun
Hmm.
that comes through. So I was very much tempted to ask you, how's it growing up in God's own country?
Growing up in God's own country, like, I guess you grew up in Bangalore, which is more of an urban setting. I I grew up in the city of Kollam, which has a lot of this colonial influences.
Mhm.
We are more like a port town, which means there are still British establishments and ruins still around. Uh, it is kind of semi-urban space, and yeah, there's a lot of greenery around. It's much more peaceful. It's not a bustling city, but at the same time all the facilities you need are available also. Maybe sometimes even better than Bangalore. You have a store way closer to your home than you have in Bangalore. uh, so yeah, it was really good growing up in Kerala with all the greenery. The only thing is the weather is humid and warm. So once you are accustomed to Bangalore weather, it's a little difficult to go back. So I hardly go back to my state, to be honest now.
Mm, say sustainability is covered, childhood is covered. So usually, my show is not complete without asking you any anecdotes that you would like to share from your childhood. Anything that the introvert Sreedev was doing that's a funny anecdote or an interesting anecdote for the audience.
Uh, Not sure. Anecdote in the sense, uh,
Anything that you did from your childhood that you now fondly remember.
oh, I don't really think I have anything like that. To be like, if you
Hmm.
you kind of caught me off guard over there a little. I don't think I have anything to share like that. Uh,
Yeah, so I have a lot of stories from my childhood that are very interesting to share. So
uh-huh.
have me on my podcast. You should have me on your podcast, and then we can discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I've never been to Kerala, so I've been only there. I think maybe one trip, a few days, and then
Oh,
home. So yeah, we've also accustomed to Bangalore weather, and I think Bangalore weather is not
yeah.
about that. But
Like I'm
yeah,
more of like an indoors person. So honestly, I've been. It's almost nearing a year that I've been in Bangalore, and I've never explored Bangalore. Honestly, I'm that level of an indoor person. So for indoor person, I think Bangalore is great because the weather is great. All the facilities are there, but I think once you get out, there's all this bustling traffic. The people are honking for no reason. uh, and there is dust, and also that becomes sometimes not so great. But as an indoors person, Bangalore works very well for me.
and that traffic hustle bustle all comes with the package. Sometimes it
Hmm.
background of the mental health thing. So it just
Yeah.
you cannot choose to have certain parts of it and
Yeah.
not. So everything is
Right.
existing in its full intensity. Mm.
Right. See, the thing is, like, I don't go to office every day. I visit office like only 2 days in a week or so, 2 or 3 days. So three days I might be at peace in my room. The day which I go to office, it's like I just turn from my lane into the main road, and it's a different world with all the horns and everything. So it suddenly feels I'm on a different planet, because 3 days you have
Yeah.
been at peace, and suddenly you just one turn you take and it's a different place.
Yeah. So I don't know if you observe, maybe the next time you go observe, there's actually a language to those horns. So there are some horns that
Uh-huh.
hey, I'm coming. There are some horns saying, "Hey, what the hell? Why did you cut me off?"
Oh, okay.
That are just saying, "Hey, I'm here. Just let me pass. I need to take a left. I need to take a right." There are
Oh, okay.
uh, that are telling you, "Hey, you're in the wrong space." Some that are
Uh-huh.
giving you a friendly hi, a friendly wave. So
Uh-huh.
all such things. Whenever you're in the traffic, next time do have a look at it. I enjoy my traffic.
Okay. By the way, I don't have a vehicle here. See, I was a two-wheeler enthusiast. I used to go on this long 100-150 kilometer trips. But one thing
Mhm.
I decided is I won't bring my two-wheeler here, because I have seen how these auto guys move very close to these two-wheelers and do this zigzag just behind them. After seeing that, I have vowed I won't take my two-wheeler here.
Hmm.
I would use
Uh,
public transport only.
yeah, public transport is good. Public transport is sustainable. Public transport is
Yeah. By the way, Bangalore public transport is pretty good. Like, you can
definitely.
just check which bus you have to get on in the Google map, and it's pretty good.
Yes, most definitely. But yeah, this autos are both interesting. So where I had a friend of mine, I just want to share this story here. So he was like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
he was in the two wheeler. So he used to be like, oh, these car guys, these auto guys, these bus guys are all over the place. They don't let us in and all that. And he shared one of his incident where he was being candid, saying after he took on the car, so after he bought a car, he had a family and all of that. He was then
Mm-hmm.
cursing the two-wheeler guys, saying, "Oh, these guys don't have sense." So at some point, because you said empathy, right? So empathy and
Mm-hmm.
other side, uh, things are different when your perspective changes, and everything is
Yeah.
different. The lights are lights change or the things change for you. So maybe you can still bring your two-wheeler here, and then with empathy you can drive.
No, I can be empathetic, but the people who are coming behind me might not be empathetic. They might crash into me.
Yes, yes, yes. That is for sure true. That is definitely the case. But yeah, Sreedev, it's been fun talking to you and listening to you share of your story of all the adventures that you've had, moving to another place, being being uh, being the English speaking guy in a completely Gujarati space. Your
Hmm.
with mental health, your candidness that you shared, and your love for two-wheelers and staying indoor. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a really
Just one more thing, Pangi. Like a lot of people might wonder why. So I had a friend who told me recently. See, this depression. What he told me was like, see, this depression comes because you have too high expectations of life, and it doesn't work out that way. That's why people get depressed. That was his view. I didn't go on to correct him or anything. Uh, because most of these mental health issues only people who have experienced it really know what they are. So I didn't want to get into a deep discussion with him on that. But the truth is that basically mental health issues mostly happen when the chemical balance, biochemical balance mostly in your brain goes sideways from the normal levels because of any number of reasons. Maybe you are not having enough exercise, maybe your diet is not good enough, maybe you are not getting enough sunlight. Basically it is when the biochemical things in your brain goes a little sideways than it should be. So it's not your typical sadness. That is just one point, this
Mm,
science aspect that I just wanted to bring into it.
yeah, yeah. That is definitely true. So it's when you're sad, you're not depressed. When you are
Yeah,
depressed, you're not OCD. You're uh, when you are forgetting things you don't have. Some other say illness. So it's a lot. There's a lot in that spectrum. And if I
yeah,
it's different, and every situation, every person's way of interpretation, the actual signs that maybe they are undergoing, it may be changing. It may be completely different. So a professional help is usually good thing.
yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for adding on to that. And I can sense that there's a lot that you have to share, a lot that you've been through.
Yeah, I do have a lot. Like, this is a very broad topic I can write a book on, but I don't know how well structured this came out, this conversation.
Mhm. But what was some of your closing thoughts in this podcast? What was interesting for you?
My closing thoughts would be okay, just be kind to people. As See, everything in the world is permitted as long as it does not harm you, it does not harm others around you. You can do anything in the world. That is and live and let live. That what I said now is the kind of motto that I follow, and I think it's a very simple set of principles that you can live by and make the world better. Like, live and let live. As long as you are not harming anybody else uh, or yourself, then you can do anything. And you see, we often turn critical about people. They are doing this, they are doing that. We judge a lot of things, but in the end, if they are not harming anybody else, they are not harming themselves. uh, Everything is permitted. This is another broader conversation I always have with people, but I will just end it here. Otherwise, it will get into another uh, different tangent.
So we can always come back for another podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Thanks a
yeah,
lot,
you did.
Pangi, for this
Mhm.
platform. Because see, the main reason I wanted to do it is I also wanted to share my story on a deeper level with the people in my life. So maybe just instead of recording a video of me speaking, this turned out to be a better platform, I think. So that's a great opportunity for me also to let people in my life, my friends, my colleagues also know. I I will also be putting out this video and saying, hey, see what has happened to me. And I'm really looking forward to what their reaction and or how the effects are going to cascade. That's something I look
Mm,
forward to.
yeah. So you never know, coming back to that fish episode, you never know what can change whom, what conversation drives whom. If it ends up being something of help to any one person or any one individual, I think our job as a
Yeah,
podcaster and your job in sharing this is complete. It's worth.
right.
Mm. So thank you then. Thank you for your time, patience, and all the nuggets that you shared from your own experience. So thank you so much. And yeah, until next time, until another guest, another episode. See you and yeah, take care.
Take care, Fungi. Bye.
Bye bye.